Right. So we're live up on YouTube. We're active on Zoom. So welcome for people that are here now, as well as for people in the future. In the far future or distant future that will be watching this. This is the second GVDS Showcase that we're doing for the 5th Global Virtual Design Sprint, in case you're keeping track of the numbers. My name is Robert Scrobe. I'm the host of this whole shindig. And with me are all of the team members from Team Ice Cream Tiger, which will introduce themselves in a moment. For those of you who are not familiar with what the Showcase is, this is a chance for the team to showcase what they have done for the past month on the topic of choice. It starts with all of them coming together around a particular challenge or theme or idea, going through the motions of kind of exploring the topic, doing a little bit of ideation, figuring out which ideas they want to build upon, and then constructing something for people to react to. And at the end, they have some learnings around not only the challenge, but also their idea and how well the two kind of came together. I'm acting as the temporary host, at least in the beginning, and I'll be handing this over to Iva, who will be kind of initially walking through something on the screen that you'll see that will take you on that journey that they went through. And at the end, we'll be fielding questions from people that do chime in on what they're seeing. And I also have a list of questions also to ask around some of the things that they've done. Again, if you have any and you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and post those up in the chat. For those of you coming to Zoom, you can go ahead and put those in as well. So without further ado, I will turn this over to Iva, who will basically start with introductions and take it from there.
Thank you, Robert. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here after our very interesting, engaging, and at the same time, fun sprint. So for starters, I would like to share my screen where we're going to go into our presentation mural board, which is created for this showcase. So here is our team. We were team 1 in the GVDS 5, and we chose the name Ice Cream Tiger. So I'm gonna start with introducing myself and then invite other team members to introduce themselves. Although we are missing 2, so I might give introduction about them as well. So my name is Iva Sladic-Ketso, and I've been a facilitator on this team with a secondary role as advisor. Usually I work as a collaboration designer, and I facilitate virtual design sprint, virtual sessions, and I also help small and medium-sized companies increase their collaboration capabilities. I'm also founder of WakeMake, which is my company that helps people collaborate better, virtually or in person. So I'm gonna hand it over to Benno.
Yeah, good morning. Benno Liebenberg. My role, I had multiple roles, so whenever, whatever was needed. So initially it was design and at some point also co-facilitating. I'm innovation facilitator, helping companies with digital transformation, and trained Google Design Sprint Master, and also working on products or product enhancing services inside the same companies that I'm helping to transform. So introducing them to the unknown entity of the client or the user. Yes, I hand over to the next one, Ben.
To another Ben. My name is Ben Shi, and I'm based in Taiwan. For this team, I'm working mainly for designing the prototypes, so it's mainly the design role. And normally I work as a product designer for iBetic, a mobile app for diabetes. And I'm also a freelance product designer. And I just realized I spelled it wrong, designer. Eva, are you introducing Luxman and Gia?
Yes, sure. So Luxman is our also design expert, and he was doing a lot of research, which actually all of us did. We had amazing number of user interviews on this sprint. And so everybody did their interviews. So Luxman was really helping with that. Luxman is also founder of Play, Think, Transform. He is certified Lego Serious Play facilitator. He also creates custom board games and helps companies innovate through play. And then we have Gia, and Gia is our research master and really a user person. She's the one who finds the really wide span of different users and conducts the interviews and guides us with the interview guides. Gia is a product manager on e-solutions at Sonova Group. And what I think we missed is interesting to say, where are we all based, since this is global virtual design sprint. So we have people from Asia and Europe here. I'm from Hong Kong. Benno from
Frankfurt, Germany.
Ben from Taiwan. Luxman from India, and Gisela from Zurich, Switzerland.
Oh, here she comes.
And she just showed up. Hi, Gia.
Hi, guys. I'm so sorry. My alarm did not go up, so it's now running. Morning exercise.
So you're here, and we just introduced you. Would you like to introduce yourself again?
Okay. Oh, hi. So yeah, I'm Gia from Portugal, based in Switzerland, product manager, and completely in love with design sprint since about 3 years ago when I started getting into the GVDS. And yeah, I had a great time with this sprint and with our solution.
Wonderful. So I think we are ready to move into our sprint story. So after some time spending on topics that interest this group and figuring out what we really want to do, we landed on the education topic. And since it's very hot these days, how to actually transform in-person and classroom teaching experience to virtual world, we actually chose that as our main topic. And our main audience were teachers. So we were actually spending time on figuring out how to help teachers teach online. And as usually, design sprint starts with a problem statement. And problem statement in our design sprint was formulated as this. Teachers who lack proper access to tools and technology are unable to implement a virtual classroom environment. Also, it is difficult for them to transfer their past experience and teaching skills in a physical classroom to a virtual one. And the big question for our problem statement was, how might we help teachers to integrate the design sprint process to their past experience for teaching, one chapter at a time, in a virtual environment? From that problem statement, we actually started our sprint journey by articulating our sprint questions and long-term goals. So I'm going to guide you through what is our sprint journey here. So we started with actually long-term goal, and this time in the global virtual design sprint, the format has changed, and we had actually different time frame goals. So we had 3-month goal, 6-month goal, 1-year goal, and a really, really big utopia goal, as Robert calls it. So I'm going to start from utopia. What are we actually looking to achieve to help world be a better place or help teachers teach? Is that design sprints are selected for teaching specific modules and approved by national educational boards. So that would be our long-term goal or our utopia goal. And when we actually take it into smaller chunks, we set some smaller goals, and I'm going to start here from a 3-month goal. Would be to contact a few teachers to generate a concrete solution and move forward. And our sprint question was, can we have a concrete proposal for teachers to get them on board to use design sprints? Our next goal was 6 months goal, where we actually wanted to have 3 teachers that tried our framework in their classroom. So the sprint question was, can we find the teachers interested in implementing it in their own classroom? And 1 year goal was that we already have a wide range of data to show and prove that our solution is working fine. So in 1 year, we wonder if we can create a report of teacher voices, which highlights the heat map of teachers' viewpoints on our tool or our proposal. So these were concrete questions that we set up when we started to think about our solution. And I'm gonna pass a baton now to Ben to tell us about the prototype and the idea.
Let me ask everyone's phone. Okay, so after coming up with the several solutions, we started to sketch for our own ideas. And the sketch that you are looking at right now, it's our winning sketch, and it's sketched by Eva. And from here, you can see it's basically a customizable design sprint template where teachers can adjust it for their own needs, and they can follow the process in the template in order to facilitate a design sprint session in their classroom. And in the details, you can see the teacher before the teachers start to facilitate the sprints. Teachers can prepare some additional resources first. Teachers can add some links, and as well as adding like some basic information about the sprint, like the grade, the subject, the topic, the team, and the teacher's long-term goal. And after that, when the teacher brings this template to the classroom, they can start running through the typical procedure that we all run through during the GVDS, which is the typical design sprint schedule. So from day one, they can come up with the problem that they want to solve with. They can come up with the how might we's. And then after finalizing the how might we's, they move to day 2, where they brainstorm. Brainstorm for long-term goals and the ideas to achieve in each goal. And then in day 3, they start to sketch, and then come up with a final prototype so that they can bring it to test in day 4. And then here you can see we also leave some blanks for them to receive some feedbacks from the testers, and then to decide their next steps. One unique thing here from the sketch is also we consider about like different teams can score each other during the sprint process, so that there are more interaction involved and make it more fun. And with this template, we transform everything to a digital version here. Here in Balsamiq with Balsamiq. And we use Balsamiq because it allows us to design things very quickly, and allows us to also test it with participant very quickly as well. So, and you can see we also added more details and make the prototype more complete in Balsamiq. So in the beginning, we design a splash screen where the teachers can look at like the basic introduction and know what they are going to do with this template. And then next steps, we also like break down some steps as well, so that the teachers don't have to fill in everything at once. They can fill in one by one. And then, so after they filled in the basic information, the typical process starts. And one unique thing we have here, it's a superpower thing. Although we haven't dig into it yet, but superpower is what we came up to make the design sprint process more engaged for the students. So imagine if every student can have a superpower, or every team can have a superpower, so that they can use during the design process to be more fun. And then after deciding all these basic stuffs, we start. The teachers should facilitate the students to start from day one, which is the mapping day. They set the problems. They vote for the final problem that they want to solve with, and then they come up with the how might we's. They finalize the how might we's, and then they move to day two, where they decide the long-term goals in 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months. And then from the long-term goals, they come up with several ideas where they want to sketch. And finally, when they move to day three, uh, the teachers can facilitate the students to sketch for different ideas, and then finalize their ideas in the end of day three, and bring it to test in day four. um, and then receive feedbacks and decide their next step in day four. One thing that we added to the design sprint process, is day five, where they will have a retrospective day to review what they have done, so the teachers can facilitate the students to think what they have done, and what went well, what didn't go well, and they can improve it when they run design sprint next day. And finally, it's done. Um, this is the final prototype, and we bring this prototype to test with participant, and receive bunch of positive feedbacks, and also some details that we are going to improve in the future. And I think Gia will talk about the research in detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to share the screen with
Yeah, I can
Balsamic?
share.
I just wanted to ask, shall we show how actually Balsamic works as a
Oh, yeah.
prototype quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So Ben, maybe you can just do a quick show.
Sure. Let me share the screen. All right. Could everyone see it? So let me jump over. Okay, it's loading right now. Okay, so here's the prototype, and we try to make it interactive. Oh, I should start from the first page. Okay, so this is the first page. Zoom over. Okay, so here's the first page. It's kind of clickable. So the buttons are working, and then the teachers can fill in their names, grade, objectives, and then the subjects that they want to discuss. And then they tap on next steps. They can go through the template like this, and then set the problem. Come up with like different problems from the students, and then finalize the problem, and then come up with the basic how might we's, finalize the how might we's. The prototype is a bit weird on the interaction here, but you can see basic stuffs. And then here we move to day two, where they come up with the long-term goals that they want to achieve, and then finalize with a group of ideas that they want to work with. They move to day three. They start to pick the ideas that they want to work on and sketch the ideas. Here's a example of sketching. And then in day four, they test it with participants. And finally, in day five, they leave some reviews and feedbacks. And then finally, they're done. So here's a fast review of the prototype.
Okay. Thank you. So let me now share the screen. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and then the time came to put it all to a test. And it was a really interesting experience to get all the feedback that we got from the teachers. We interviewed all in all about 8 people. and still continued. And here's some of the feedback that we had the chance to get. Most of the teachers, they loved the flow, they loved the structure. We had positive feedback in regards to the collaboration between the students and the teachers. They liked the language. And overall, most of them said that, yeah, they would use it and they could see the usefulness of the tool that we got. Some aspects that were pointed out is that for teachers that were less experienced in design thinking, they would have liked to see even clear instructions for the exercises and a better distinction on who does what in each part of the exercises. And some of them wanted to see just to what point it was customizable. We did have a couple of highlights and learnings from this. So we realized that one concern that the teachers always have, even when they were looking at the tool, is that, okay, we need to be able to adjust this to the size of our classes. And they were also thinking, okay, this also needs to be able to be done within the 45 minutes classes, within the 45 minutes that they have. And they definitely wanted the customization possibilities of the prototype that Ben was just showing to be a little bit more obvious. And something that came up during our interviews, our call, a feature that they said they would have liked to see would have been a repository where the teacher could add some material that the students would be able to research during the exercises. Sort of a mini Google within the prototype. And yeah, they did point out, they kept telling us that kids and teenagers learn better by doing and that they learn from each other, which was something that they liked about the tool. So overall, when we were in our retrospective and thinking about it, we did believe that the prototype answered the sprint questions, as indeed we were able to provide a tool for the teachers to try out. Will it properly address the long-term goal? Here we were a bit divided between the not sure, but leaning more towards the yes. I think it answered particularly the first long-term goals of creating something for the teachers and getting them to use it, to try it out. But maybe not so much for the utopia. We definitely need a little bit of refinement. But overall, we do believe that we addressed the challenge that we took on as a team. So we were very happy about that. Benno, is there any aspect you would like to add? Benno was amazing, gathering all the insight and all the interviews.
We had an amazing choice of interviewees. So this may be also as information that what we learned as insights was extremely valuable, covering a lot, because we had teachers that have not been knowledgeable to any kind of human-centered design methodology at all, up to those who are design sprint savvy, and also teachers not using any structured method for their teaching at all. So it was a perfect range. We were lucky to have found and chosen those. And some of the major insights or aha moments, actually, while watching the interviews was and listening to them closely, was teachers do not like to fail, because teaching can very often be like herding cats. So they want to be sure that the tool or the method they're using helps them to advance and be successful. So evaluating ideas with a high likelihood of failure is not something they're inclined to at the first place. But if we help them to trust the process, this can work. So we have to put some emphasis on this part, which is for us who are used to design sprint pretty natural. This is something we have to help the teachers to become comfortable with. And another insight was, yes, Gia already said, children learn best from children. The younger the students, the less likely they try to play their own trumpet, so that they are offered to be able to present the contributions of their peers. And these are the two major differences to what the classical design sprint actually does in order to tailor it for the teaching situation. So this was quite concrete and valuable input we were lucky to receive.
Yeah.
That's great. So I just also want to add, in terms of our user research, what was really powerful was the global coverage. We had teachers from all over the globe. I mean, Ben also did an interview with his partner and translated it to us from Chinese to English. We had Luxman doing an interview in India, myself doing an interview in Hong Kong. So I think that input, like a global input, is really important to mention here.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So our next step is to share our personal highlights.
I can stop sharing the screen. Okay.
Okay, so I can share the screen again. So we can go over team highlights here. Yeah, Ben, would you like to start? What was highlight for you?
Sure.
How did the sprint go?
The biggest highlight is that this is my first design sprint in my life, and I'm glad I worked with this team that really collaborated well. I learned so much stuff from every single team members, and also Robert in the sprint. And I'm very happy about what we created in the end, and look forward to bringing this prototype to more areas in the future. So that's my highlight. Gia, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thanks. So my highlight was definitely the team collaboration, and I really liked how easy the sprint was. I agree with Ben. I definitely think this idea can be taken forward, and it has a lot of potential. That was also one of the highlights, was the user research, the interviews, and really trying it out and actually seeing that it is useful, and actually seeing how it could be used, and have such objective feedback on what we could tweak a bit. It was really, really, really one of the best parts. And Eva was a great facilitator, so thank you for that. And yeah, it was really, really good experience.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just here next. So for me, the highlight was really the user research. As I said just now, like the global coverage, really rich. The way Benno digested all of the interviews and gave us the insights was fantastic. Gia, you had 4 interviews, right? And just still continuing. I mean, you're so deep in
Yeah.
this topic of education that you just can't stop doing it, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, and your interviews were also not just from Europe, right?
No, we had Alice from Brazil.
Yeah.
And we also had Jordi from Spain, and and Daniel from Switzerland. Yeah. So only 2 were from Switzerland.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the second highlight here is that everybody were taking their roles very seriously, but also jumping into whatever was needed. And I love that. And this was really relaxed sprint, and a lot of work was done, but in such a relaxed manner. So that's my highlight. There was no tension. There was, except the good creative tension. I mean, everything was going really smooth from one step to another, and great work, everyone. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Benno, what was your?
Yeah, I tried to express it with an alliteration, with some tweaks. Actually, it was really, for me, it was just a constant row of highlights, starting with the team itself, fantastic and positive pros. And somehow everything just came together naturally. Be it we're just following the process, or at some point just extending or tweaking it a bit, up to like that we deliberately chose on the spot to go for wireframes instead of a high fidelity mock-ups, because we somehow instantly exactly know how what to use in order to do the interviews as a prototype, up to this really fantastic interviewees we had, and this range of insights we gained from that. So it simply came together. Everything simply came together, and even the pace, especially because of Iva, but also because of how she somehow led us in her unique way. You definitely know how to do it because of having children. And somehow I felt at the right spot, and although it was, for me, it was it still is challenging, very early in the morning in my time zone, and it simply worked out, and because of the team. And it simply felt, as we say in German, it was there were no edges. It was a round thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have Ice Cream Tiger. Yep, very great feedback. Qualcomm Prabka. Fantastic. We have Frozen Yogurt Cat. What does it say?
Miau Chu Gusto.
Yeah, fantastic. And Luxman says this is a text box. That's that's great. And we have
That
Ice
sounds like
Cream.
Lex.
Yeah. And Ice Cream Tiger says, so cool. Great. We just have for the end to show you some photos of our sessions. Very, very interesting. I think it goes as a storyboard. So this is our start, where we were still confused. Our faces look like, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
And then we had unfortunate situation that Khalil couldn't join us for the rest of the sprint. So greetings to Khalil. We thought of you during the sprint. Hopefully next time you'll be able to join us. And so the day 2 actually looked more interesting. You see, we are kind of relaxed and we are starting to play, having our toys around us. It's getting warmer. It's getting warmer. You know, the day 3 or 4, whatever this is, looks kind of crazy. This is where the creation starts. This is probably solution sketching. Yeah, Luxman is full of colors there.
Yes,
Everybody
and
has
never
Robert
looked better.
and Robert and Missy Elliott style.
Yeah.
I've never looked better.
You never looked better. Now there is another one with your purple hair or something. Yeah, and a drag queen one, I think. Really cool. Benno with his double diamond ice box. Is this for ice box? For
Yes, this is ice cream.
yeah.
Ice cream makers for double diamonds that turn into icebergs when you put them
double
in.
Diamond iceberg. So many things inside. And this is us when we got our prototype ready for testing. We were so excited. So this pictures actually shows this thing that we created is going out in front of the people. So our excitement was huge.
Yes.
And now I just want to wrap up that this team actually decided to move on and put more time into this product and actually bring it out there into the real world as something functional that teachers can use in a real life. So watch this space, everybody.
So if we have questions coming in, if people are joining in the board itself, they could place it there. Otherwise, in the chat, it's either way. Who wants to ask some questions from the spectators? Robert, you're on mute. And my camera went hot.
Yes. So you're going to be deep in thought about the questions. You don't really need the video.
Yes,
You just need to
me meditate
concentrate.
about this. I must.
Okay, so the first question is, a lot of these ideas and challenges that have come from the Global Virtual Design Sprint for the past 2 sessions now, both in May and in October, have dealt with education and have gone the route of going in different directions, whether it was augmented reality or applying the sprint process. What I would like to know from this team is, after going through this virtual sprint on your topic, how do you see this evolving over the next couple months? If you had the same sort of steady concentration of effort and focus on this, how do you see this evolving if it were given that same flight plan that you currently are, whether it's iteration sprinting, what you currently have done, maybe prototyping to test it in the market? Where do you see it going? And I'll start with Benno on this one.
One of the major and most highly interesting aspects of it, apart from being able to provide some value to teaching, is how to evolve design sprint into a new context for it. As I said, these some of the highlights we saw, to modify the method without breaking it, for it suits different contexts. And this is also, so this is a very interesting thing. And the other thing is, we simply want to see how far we can get this thing, hopefully into something actually working for teachers.
Gia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited about moving forward with this. I've always been interested in education and how we can change the way children are learning at school, and how we can support the teachers that do want to change but are constricted by the reality of having a curriculum to give in, the size of the classes. So I definitely see this being used, and keeping up the effort. I would definitely see this being tested more and more by more teachers, and really piloting it ultimately. I mean, this is something I definitely see it being used and see the potential. I mean, already when we did the Teenagers for Change, we tried it out with teenagers. At least one of the interviewees, she participated in that project, and she's also been doing an amazing work in education design and trying to teach teachers how they can apply design thinking. And I definitely think this has a potential, and the way to move forward would really be to keep it steady and continuing to test it, and continue to try to get at least one pilot school to continue with it. But I definitely saw interest from the teachers.
Yeah.
And they do come up with the sense of okay, there's the time issue. They have the classes, they have a certain time to do it. There's the curriculum issue that they need to adapt, and there's also the time issue. So they do like to see, okay, how can we help our teams better? How can we help our students group and learn better and showcase and also express themselves?
Maybe that's why we chose the name Spark Sprint for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To spark.
Yes.
Ben, do you agree with Gia that does it kind of need a pilot program to kind of see where it goes in different circumstances and in different locations?
Yeah, I do. I agree with Gia that we can run more iterations on testings and design to get more feedbacks, and also to improve the current version. And just as Gia said, we did a lot of researches and received a lot of positive feedbacks. So I definitely think this is a good chance to try. And one thing that we should emphasize is also, of course, right now it's during like a special period where virtual education is getting more attention right now. But even before the pandemic, like education is started to emphasize on like flipped classroom and like different ways of teaching, and the template that we came up with is just to provide teachers another new way to make the classroom more creative. So I definitely think this is on the trend.
I've again, given the international nature of the research that the team did, do you personally feel that the application of the Spark Sprint would need to take in those international contexts for education and how people apply it?
Well, yeah,
I think, yeah. I think
Yeah.
if we want to move it forward, and I'm quite pragmatic in this sense, I think we need to focus on one market and just try, make it work in one place, and after that, see where else it's easy to apply it without too many changes. So I'm definitely now thinking, okay, what market should we choose? Maybe from our own contacts, if we have some, and work closely, because it needs to be a very close and good relationship with a person or a principal in a school that might try it as a pilot. So there needs to be a lot of communication, I believe, and I would start from there, rather than spreading it out too thin, and trying to work globally. I would rather find one school, work it out in one school, so we have a good test and proven application.
If we start a community of practice next month, do you see this project as something that you could do a minimal amount of effort towards, but keep it alive from month to month, so that it could be kind of like a touch base for the team? Like, say if it's basically getting together for the first week of every month going forward and doing a couple of tasks to see where this goes. Is that feasible in terms of kind of keeping momentum with what's been done so far?
I definitely think yes, from my perspective, and this is exactly what we were talking about as a team. That let's decide how many hours we need to put in monthly, what is our availability, and just reserves time for it. So is that like 2 hours every first week in a month, or maybe twice a month? That's another thing to discuss.
Because highly interesting will be when it for the first time hits the students. And we want to get it to that stage so that it is evolved to for teachers can use it, and then get to the ultimate test of maybe even some deciding on what age group might be the best to start with.
So
Yeah.
if it's April 2021 and you're looking at the next GVDS or whatever it's going to be, and everyone's been continuing this conversation forward around what it's been doing. You've been iterating on it slightly, maybe getting some more impressions, getting some more data, kind of seeing how it's evolving in the eyes of educators as well as students. How could you potentially forecast how that would look? Would this be the same team? Would it be maybe a slightly different makeup? What would be optimal in terms of how you could foresee this?
If I really dream about it, I would love to, in April, like really launch it. If I really dream about it, like have like already the first pilots and have the first students doing it. And of course, it would be great to stay with the same team. But yeah, it would be great to see it launch and having the first students really trying it out, and already have a database of the teachers and a school to pilot. Maybe in Europe would be easier.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I also see it expanded as a support with maybe some already developed tech out there, because there is technology, and there are companies that are offering, package for Sprint that actually has some of the features that our users were asking for, like tracking and analysis of inputs and printout of PDF. There are products out there that already do that. So I see our team maybe partnering or working with some of the existing technologies out there.
Yeah.
If there were a template for a 3-month flight plan, meaning that something that you could forecast 90 days in the future, and this would keep that same structure of kind of touching base, but having a couple of things that you're working towards so that you're kind of envisioning what Gia was talking about, where you actually have a product launch or something that you're bringing to market, would that interest this team?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we're all up with the, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I ask is because it was a conversation that happened today around the idea that there's the promise of getting together to do this, but everything getting in the way of that happening for whatever reason that usually occurs. But if there's some sort of structure already in place to say, we forecast that we could potentially be here, then at least you have that forecasted so that if you get to that point and you know what you need to do, it's a judgment call on whether or not this could be something you could do versus something else that needs your attention, and just seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the key to any idea to be successful is to be open to collaboration, be open to pivoting, to adapt, to collaborate and see what already is out there and really build on it. And, you know, partnerships, collaboration is key to make anything work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're closing in on the end of the showcase. So any final thoughts from y'all beyond what you put into the mural about what you learned, your experience, what you would ideally take forward from this, whether it's in your professional life or otherwise. So I'll go on the opposite end of the spectrum and I'll start with Iva with this.
So from this design sprint, what I want to take forward is, first of all, as a parent, I would like my kids to use the methods and the tools that we are working towards in their education, especially virtually, because I can see now firsthand that there is a big gap in that sense. Professionally, I'm really grateful for this growing community of practitioners and looking forward to community of practice meetings where we can actually just regularly meet and share the learnings and things that we are putting into real life practice.
What about you, Ben? What are you taking forward?
Personally, I have been involved in the education industry for a few years, so met a lot of teachers and students. So I'm definitely happy to force them or make them to test the app and to bring into a classroom to see what kind of feedbacks we can get from them. Professionally, I think being here really met a lot of different people from different countries, and really look forward, just like Eva said, really look forward to join like any networking sessions that's coming in the future, and to learn even more from different people.
Benno, how about yourself?
This was my first GVDS. I asked myself, why have I not participated from the first one on? Having succeeded in learning and growing together with this fantastic team and another one, being a design sprint master since years, learned the stuff directly from in Mountain View from Google. I took so much here from this sprint. So still I have to actually, since I'm time-wise, it's challenging for me. Currently working for a pharmaceutical company that, for example, also does research on COVID medication. So there's a lot to digest afterwards, and simply going through the murals with some more time, what we actually worked on, because it was in the right pace, but yet we were just moving forward. And so there's so much I can take from professionally from knowledge gained through working and evolving the methodology while using it itself, but also how it developed in our proposed solution. and for sure, getting to know highly professional, great persons like this team, and joining another really good professional network is also a big takeaway from me that I hope to provide value to in the future as well.
Sounds fantastic. Gia, you're closing it out. So what did you take away from this particular sprint, and what's your professional outlook on this one?
Again, I really liked working with this team. It was very smooth. I liked that we were all so invested in the topic. Again, what I take from this GVDS experience is always a great experience learning from other great professionals, learning different ways to do things. It's always extremely satisfying to always learn and exchange knowledge. Professionally, well, everyone that knows me knows that I'm really, really passionate about education and teenagers and design thinking and design sprint for teenagers, because I really think that teenagers are very underrated in the sense that the educational system treats them as if they couldn't do anything. And it's exactly the opposite. When you give them the tools, you just step back and you watch the magic happen. So yeah, I'm very passionate about that. And especially, I'm really looking forward to taking this forward with the team and seeing the time that we can dedicate it. And yeah, definitely want to move this forward beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Sometimes you get a bit jealous at all the energy they have going, man, look at them go. You're like, holy cow, you're doing a lot. And you see, you did all that in 2 days? Oh, man. Woo.
It was a really exciting project.
Yep. All right. So last thing we'll do before we end everything is we got to do one last group photo, but I'm not going to be the person that would suggest what to do. This has to come from the team, but I'm basically going to be the person that takes the picture and sends it back. So if anyone would have any suggestions, we're all on vacation. Some of us are on vacation. Some of us are being mystic. Others are just quite natural in their background. So whatever the team would like to suggest, we can do for one last group shot.
Let's all go to the beach.
Yes.
All right, I'll do that too. There you go. Yeah, I'll change mine.
Like really relaxing at the beach.
Since there's no beach, I'll just go for the black hole.
Oh, there you go. Well, Benno is the sun. That's where basically
It's actually a black hole.
Oh,
the
there
opposite.
you go. We're like, we don't care. We're just basically, yeah.
We're just gonna get sucked into a black hole from the beach. It's fine. I don't care.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna do my usual shades here. There we go. Now I'm good. All right, are you ready, everybody? Let's act like we're at the beach. Ready? I'll go 1, 2, and 3. There you go. All right, Team Ice Cream Tiger, thank you very much for presenting your work here in the GVDS Showcase. If people in the future see this or have any questions, post up, or you can find us on LinkedIn. I think all of our profiles are there. You'll be seeing more from this team on the Spark Sprint, hopefully, coming up in the future. But until then, I hope all of you are well, stay safe, especially in these times, and looking forward to hearing from you again sometime in the future.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Take care. See you later, all.